Hey everybody, this is Grace. In this video, I'm going to talk about something about empaths. Now, how many have heard this, that some people call themselves empaths? You know, like empathy, but they call themselves empaths. Now me, I had forgotten that I had first heard this, or read it, I should say. And I believe it was in a Nora Roberts trilogy. I don't remember which book or which trilogy or any of that. It was many years ago. And anyway, it was the character, all three of them were, I think all three of them were, somehow it was kind of mystical, magical. Now me, I'm not one to believe in things being mystical, magical, you know. I'm not one to believe in psychics, or like some people say I have the gift of, well, they say premonitions. I just don't see it the same way as they see it, and I just don't see it as mystical, magical. Let me put it that way. I think more along the line of it's kind of logical, you know. And but some people believe in empaths in that way, that they're psychic, they're mediums, they're, you know, so on and so forth, and they just pick up on things. And anyway, I'm going to have a short little thing at the end of this, and I'm going to give an example first. Okay, yeah. Okay, now a woman, I'm going to give an example, hypothetical, fictional, of a woman named Wendy, and she's around my age. And Wendy runs a, well, she likes to call it a retreat, but basically, parents, the county that she lives in, the parents are, the families, most of them are very wealthy. And when they have a child, even if the child is up to, like, I don't know what age, but say 24, and the child is still somehow dependent, you know, adult child, even, you know, like if they're going to college or attending university, and if they find they have some kind of, you know, they feel that the child, you know, the adult child has some sort of a problem before them, they'll send them to Wendy's, you know, the thing that she runs, her retreat kind of thing. And basically they try to reprogram them. When you come down to it, they try to reprogram. You know, they try to teach them, you know, discernment, to know what is good and what is evil, what's right, what's wrong. And these are, you know, they had noticed it when they were young. They can be children too, you know, teenage years, and they send them there, and you know, try to get them to see, and to not to be like evil. So, boy, the sun was bothering me, so I had to start over here. Anyway, so she runs this, and she does, you know, she teaches them, you know, her counselors. Okay, she is a counselor, but she doesn't use it. She is the one who, you know, organizes it. Her own business, has her own business, you know, the retreat and all this. And they do. Some people see them as hippies. They live in a town called Hippie Town. Okay, it's got a history, and they had that retreat there, and they do things like they teach them to farm. That, and by doing it, they are helping them to get more in touch, kind of literally, with, you know, being down to earth. You know, but many of these are adult children who stand to get an inheritance, but their parents said, you're not going to get an inheritance unless you go through these, you know, to this retreat, training and all that. Okay, I had to make sure that bag, there was a big bag rolling across the road, and I've had before a minivan that had a bag from the street wrapped around the muffler, and yeah, it had been causing me problems, and I didn't know it was there until I had an oil change, and they lifted it up, the minivan. The guy said, ma'am, do you have a bag wrapped around your muffler? That explained a lot. But anyway, so I avoided them now. So back to Wendy. She read what's to follow, and this was a post on Virtual County, and she read it, you know, it's just for the county, and she didn't like it because to her too many people, some people, not too many, but well, possibly too many in the county may, fall victim, she felt, to this kind of thinking that there is something mystical, magical about having empathy. People who have empathy, instead of seeing, in her view, that empathy is normal, having, empathy and the feeling, putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and being able to, see how you would feel, how that would feel, so you don't do things that are bad, and, you feel for them, and you try to help them if possible. And she didn't want anybody to think that there are so many different reasons why you can feel empathy, and that somehow, some way, that makes them superior. She felt that she read a lot of posts that some people were thinking they were superior to all others because they could feel empathy. And she said, in her view, this is normal. People have empathy. And if they don't, there's a problem. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Okay, now how funny is this? I went into this CVS, and I'm used to another one, but I was looking for a certain kind of toothbrush. Tried 2 other ones, and they're just too rough. Well, anyway, I found them, and when I came back down the aisle, right up in front of me on the other side, the aisle, was books. And I never look over really at books. And, of course, guess who it was? It was on the one side. First I saw, what is it? What's her other pen name? JB, or is it JD? Rob, something like that. And right next to it was Nora Roberts. So now that's a weird coincidence. And yes, I believe in coincidences. It was just a weird one. But anyway, I had to check myself out here. I'm not a fan of, I didn't know that the woman standing back there, she was an employee, but I'm not a fan of that, at all. And I don't want to sound entitled, but it's always been that they have cashiers. Okay. So it's not something that I'm feeling entitled to, except for things to be, to there to be actual customer service, not make employees out of people who are paying to have this customer service. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I mentioned in one video, or might not have put it up, there's a Walmart that has 4, count them 4. It's one of those huge Walmarts, 4 in the front checkouts that, the actual cashier does it. And 21, I think, of self-checkout. I thought that was, whoa, And when we were there, they only had 2 of the ones with cashiers open. Yeah, and it was, I think, a Saturday. I've been in there when people have gotten ticked off. Even before they implemented that, people were ticked off because they would only have 1 lane open, 1 cashier, and one of them was at Christmas. Yeah, people weren't happy. Okay, because I really, I've done self-checkout before, and it seems like there's most of the time there's a problem, and I have to stand there and wait, and somebody has to come and help. Anyway, this is the story of my life. But this time, I guess today was the last day of my little coupon, and it says to put the coupon in, and I said I don't have the coupon, and luckily it was on the card too. Anyway, I got it free, so I had some left over. It was 9 something, $9.79 or 9 something like that. So I was lucky because I looked at this and said, what is this? Did I what happened? I'm not going to walk out the store, and not have paid for something, and you know what I'm saying? They think I'm still. The woman was standing not right exactly behind me, but she nodded at me when I finished, so that's when I realized, yeah, she's an employee. But anyway, okay. I went in and I'm going around here. I'm going to get that all over. This one all hit. But I went into that place and got picked up our order, which was a large pizza and a stromboli. At least I think that's how it's pronounced. I've never had one. At least I don't think so. I may have. Just didn't know the name of it. And I don't know if he has or not, but I ordered one just to see. There is something they have besides calzone, but it looks like one, and I have tried that. So, and I looked at the menu and didn't see any when I was ordering from home. So, but anyway, back to Wendy. How about we get there? You know, my real life is going to be in the middle of all these things because real life happens in the middle of a video. But anyway, now gotta get out of here. Okay, let me try this again. Phone call, and then there were some teenagers leaving this school to go get something to eat, I guess. But anyway, so I don't put people's kids in my videos. So anyway, back to Wendy. So Wendy's read this post about empaths and such, and she was worried that people in the county would think that this is somehow legit, that it was from counselors or it was somehow a diagnosis, and she didn't like it. Okay, so she knew, you know, that she would start sounding like she was a moral authority on stuff if she started answering all these or responding to these. But at that point in her life, she said, I don't care. That was her view, because she didn't want people to think they're somehow superior or they're somehow magical and possibly get harmed from that kind of thinking, or to be pulled in by somebody, you know, reeled in, that was actually just a hoax, or not a hoax, but a scammer. And so she answered each and every post. And now she had already been the elders of the county. They basically run the county, and it's part of their culture. It's been like that since the early settlers, and if people are okay with it, nobody complains, because it's all very wealthy, and the elders are usually wealthy investors. And the county's very wealthy, and people get along, for the most part. And so there's a long history there too. But anyway, they'd already contacted her, wanting her to help them. But she said that she didn't think so, that the kind of help that they wanted, she would have to be one to diagnose, and they weren't going to be her client, and these kinds of things. And so she wasn't going to do that. And okay, look at this. This is no passing zone here. And this person just has to go as fast as possible. That kind of thing happened to me one night, and the guy almost went on the curb over there, and he would have flipped. But yeah, some people just have to go faster than the speed limit. Oh no! Now I'm going to sound like the moral authority. That's wrong. In this kind of road, when you don't know what could be coming, and it says no passing, period. Yeah, and so I'm going to sound like that too. Really, I mean, has it gotten to where people don't care? But anyway, so that's how she is. Wendy is one who she sees these kinds of things and she says no. And I think I have a video on that one also, about, you know, her being asked to do certain things and she wasn't comfortable with. But this kind of thing, yeah, she's comfortable with it. She's not going to be diagnosing anybody, but she's going to be dispelling some magic, pardon the pun. Or is that even a pun? That's exactly what it would be, right? And again, dispelling magic might be a pun. I gotta think about that. But anyway, so I'm going to do more on this. I've got, if I remember to put that other little video on the back of this. This is what would be what she had read and what she thought of it. And it wasn't all that big. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to go home and eat. I'll talk to you on another video. Bye.